The Justin Robert Young program brought to you as always by PayJuryDaily.com. Just had a few new people come on into the Patreon, and boy, am I happy, because not only is this time of year kind of tight money-wise, you know, people got to buy gifts. There's a lot of charitable giving done during this year, so I know that every penny is accounted for, and not everybody's a goddamn billionaire. So anytime that there is a little bit of that budget allocated to this show, whether it is on a big contribution that is ongoing or you are a new person, well, just know that it warms the cockles of my heart, and I do appreciate it. Come join the crew, PayJuryDaily.com. Also a reminder that you're going to need to get your orders into stickers or DIAF.com if you want to get your stuff by Christmas. We have merch for this show. We got merch for politics. We got merch for Night Attack. It's all there for you, friends. Stickers or DIAF.com. Well, enough of talking about how we support the show. Oh, what do you say we just do the damn thing? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Deep Dop Doop, to the JuRY Daily Show. My name is Justin Robert Young. I do this show on the daily. We're going to talk about Fairytale of New York. You know, around this time of year, we tend to like to talk about Christmas songs because I like Christmas songs. I think a lot about them because I'm a weird person and I wind up thinking about a lot of things for longer than I necessarily need to. But first, we need to do a little business. First and foremost, there's somebody that has been a close part of this show for pretty much as long as I've done this show on a regular basis. His name is Brett the Amtrekker Rounceville. He has been on this show as recently as our Thanksgiving week. We had him on for our travel week. And he made a very, 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 very tough decision today, and that was to sunset what I thought was an amazing app and just a tremendous community in Mission Pick. That's hard. It takes bravery to do it. It takes guts to do it. And it takes a lot of courage to do it out there in the public and not just kind of shut it down in the dead of night. So I just want to say that rare in life are those who go out there and create with the full understanding that failure is a possibility. And by no means do I think that Mission Pick is a failure, but what I do know is that every day that Brett created that site, created that app, and tended to that community, there was always going to be something running through your head of what if this doesn't work. So I don't think what happened is an example of it not working. I think it is an example of him moving on, and the next thing that's going to come out of it will be even better for it. So if you liked Mission Pick, if you have tried Mission Pick, well, then I would encourage you to reach out to him at Amtrekker on Twitter and let him know that you enjoyed the product and you're excited to see what comes next out of that kooky guy's brain. Second note of business. This feels like something that comes around every couple months, and that is that Patreon, the way that we fund this here program, deactivates somebody's account or doesn't let somebody on, and then next thing you know, I start getting messages saying, hey, are there other ways that I can support you other than Patreon because I disagree with Patreon as a general premise. So, right now there's not, but the more that people talk about it, the more I think that we're going to have to just turn on some kind of direct donation, PayPal link or something. Let me just make this clear. I really would prefer if Patreon behaved like a bank. If Patreon was just something that was very boring and, it took a lot for somebody to get kicked off. Maybe it would take a lot to open an account. A lot of times you can walk into a bank and maybe they're going to deny that you open up an account. Okay. But any and every time that there are these larger political kind of arguments that swirl around what I very much view as a bit of a dumb pipe, that's what I want Patreon to be. Patreon is great in that they established a brand name in saying, hey, here's a tube for money to go in, and then it funnels out to me. And I love it because I like making money for a show that really is not, A, particularly advertiser friendly, and B, doesn't get the M's in the CPMs for me to, I think, make it worth it to have you guys listen to another fucking BarkBox ad. So I love Patreon. I wish Patreon were more boring. If you hate Patreon and you still want to support me, stay tuned because I'll figure out a way to, be able for you guys to support beyond that. You can always support on Twitch, twitch.tv/JustinRYoung. If you have Amazon Prime, then you can get a free Prime subscription each month. That is to you. There is no way to keep that money. It is use it or lose it cash, and I'm calling dibs. So if you want to support me doing that, if you want to buy some stickers, you want to buy some pins, you want to buy some buttons, you can do that on Stickers or DIAF. But if you just want to throw money because you support the show, then we'll figure out a way to do it beyond Patreon. But unfortunately for right now, Patreon is the way that we're doing the custom RSS feed, which, we don't do a lot with that right now, but we probably will in the future. Just wanted to address that because I've gotten a few messages about it. And there we go. I did. Let's talk about Fairytale of New York. If you're unfamiliar with this song, go ahead and pause this and Google it. Play it for yourself. It's a beautiful song. It is written by the Pogues. It was written in 1987. And the lyrics go a little something like this. It was Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank. An old man said to me, won't see another one. And then he sang a song, the rare old Mountain Dew. I turned my face away and dreamed of you. Got on a lucky one, came in 18-1. I got a feeling this year's for me and you. So happy Christmas. I love you, baby. I can see a better time when all of our dreams come true. Then it switches to a female. As sang by Christy McCall. It is Shane McGowan, the lead singer of the Pogues, who sings the first verse. They've got cars big as bars, they've got rivers of gold, but the wind goes right through you, it's no place for the old. When you first took my hand on a cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broadway was waiting for me. And then the duet. You were handsome, you were pretty, queen of New York City. When the band finished playing, they howled out for more. Sinatra was singing, all the drunks they were singing. We kissed in a corner, then danced through the night. The boys of the NYPD choir were singing Galway Bay, and the bells were ringing out for Christmas Day. Oh, man, what a beautiful song. Just a beautiful song. Such a great songwriting, right? A sense of time, a sense of place, a sense of character. You have a little bit of an idea of who these people are. It is an immigrant's tale of Irish man and woman coming to America, living out the dreams of rock stars. Now, here's where things wind up getting a little dicey. For all the reasons that I explained, we continue with a rich portrayal of what these characters, the character who we see at the beginning is in the drunk tank, how they would treat each other. This is the back and forth. You're a bum, you're a punk, you're an old slunt on junk, lying there almost dead on a drip in that bed. You scumbag, you maggot, you cheap, lousy F slur. You know, the slur that rhymes with maggot. Happy Christmas, you arse. I pray to God it's our last. And the boys of the NYPD choir still singing Galway Bay. And the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day. And then we wrap up here. I could have been someone. Well, so could anyone. You took my dreams from me when I first found you. I keep them with me, babe. I put them on my own. Can't make it all alone. I've built my dreams around you. And the boys of the NYPD choir still singing Galway Bay. And the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day. The controversy around this song is, of course, the cheap, lousy F slur. There has been on and off controversy about this song. The BBC briefly pulled it a couple years ago before there was a clamoring to bring it back. Actually, I think they only censored it, and there was a clamoring to play it again uncensored. And now, this year, there is a controversy, I believe, with RTE in Ireland to censor it. Now, I previously did an episode of this very show wherein I defended Baby It's Cold Outside as a relic of its era, and that maybe we should think specifically about where we've come and where we are, and we should factor that in. Context, of course, is king, and we should apply that to these kinds of issues. However, the argument that I would make to Fairytale in New York is not necessarily one that I think very obviously the slur there is what it was then. Now, the question that I would have is this a Christmas song the way that, let's say, Die Hard's a Christmas song, or it's a horror movie. Silent Night is a Christmas movie. Are they songs for which can be enjoyed by certain adults, by adults who want to play it by themselves, but maybe are not appropriate for over-the-air broadcast? In the same playlist as Jingle Bell Rock, for example. Or even Baby It's Cold Outside. I tend to lean on the idea that I love the song. I think the song is great. And I can appreciate in art when you are explaining a character that sometimes that character is going to say awful things. We can still appreciate it with that understanding. All right, I'm going to pause this if you guys are telling me that there's a problem with the audio. Is this a Christmas song the way that, let's say, Die Hard's a Christmas song, or it's a horror movie. Silent Night is a Christmas movie. Now, it doesn't seem to be in the master recording. In art, when you are explaining a character, that sometimes that character is going to say awful things. We can still appreciate it with that understanding. All right, hold on, wait. Let me turn off everything and then turn it back on. I should probably get in the habit of just shutting the USB down before I start things. YouTube, congratulations. You get to see all this. Okay. How does it sound now, guys? Good, bad, ugly, crispy, problem solved, problem not solved? It's kind of really frustrating because I don't get a monitor out of Voice Meter. So I don't know exactly what's going out to you guys. But please don't feel bad about and the boys are and the bells are singing out on Christmas Day. All right. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. So I tend to fall down on the side. Now, granted, Fairytale of New York, ironic because it's a song about an American city, is not quite the Christmas classic that it seems to be in England and in Ireland. It seems like it's more of a low-key Christmas hit out here. So in that case, maybe I'm a little bit, there's not as much to give up, you know? Maybe it's it is less of a sacrifice for me to say, keep it on the Spotify playlist, but it doesn't need to be on the radio. Because to be totally honest, I don't think it's on the radio out here. Has anybody ever heard unedited Fairytale of New York on the radio? Maybe rock radio, right? However many of those are left. But I don't know if it's out on a lot of other ones. I don't know. Go ahead and send me an email about it. JuRyDaily@gmail.com. That is JuRyDaily@gmail.com. Thank you for Sean for that suggestion. He wrote in asking about the gay slur in Fairytale from New York. Nick goes ahead and writes in, requesting the angry email voice. Remember, if you want me to read your email in the angry email voice, you have to go ahead and tell me at the beginning of the email. Nick did, so we will. What the actual motherfucking... With all due respect to the mothers and their hard work, fuck! I cannot believe the attitude towards past feminists where the attitude is to dismiss them in order to further progress. Like what? What? Yes? Equal treatment for all is still not obtained and worth fighting for. Why does that mean that I should not admit that we are further... Okay, Nick, I'm going to stop you here. Because I'm going to say that this email here has to be like 400 words. And I'm fine with screaming for 400 words. I've screamed for longer in my life. However, if you're gonna give me a 400-word email to scream, you gotta get the point up top. Like it's like writing a school paper. First sentence, summarize the point you're gonna make in your argument. I don't believe that the controversy over Baby It's Cold Outside is appropriate. I think it's blank. Here's why. Because I can't go through all this and start screaming when nobody knows what the fuck's going on. So I'm going to skip to the end. Honestly, I forgot what email I was specifically arguing against, so sorry. I went on a rant. If I have to shorten it, I will, or I'll do so when I'm sober. Let me know. If it helps, I'm white, straight, and drunk, so probably not the greatest demographic. Nick, I love you dearly. Herschel writes, hey, Justin, it's Herschel. or tweak 9,000 from the chat, 900 from the chat. I'm just trying to figure out what Patreon you would rather me give to. I know that you have at least two, and I saw the Daily Show wasn't making as much as Politics X3. I love you and all your work, and already give to Night Attack, but I want to make sure that I give my $20 a month to the most useful Patreon to you. Thank you, Herschel. Yeah, this is a newer Patreon, and this is monthly, unlike the weekly politics one. But I would say, look, in general, wise woman once told me that you give people as many places where they feel comfortable giving you money as possible. So if you listen to this show, the Daily Show, more, then this would be a place to give it. If you really want the bonus politics content, well, then $3 a week on the politics Patreon is the where to go. If you're spending a lot of your time here on Twitch, then throw that $20 a month into bits and toss it to me whenever you want. I would just say whatever the benefit that you feel benefits you greatly, or the most, do that. But otherwise, look, if you really like this show, $20 a month gets you in the jury and the grand jury at the end. Do I get more profit from the money on Twitch? Tweak 900 is in the chat right now. No, not necessarily. I mean, I think technically, if you cash $20 in bits and then gave me $20 in bits, I would get $20. If you gave it to me in Patreon, Patreon would get a taste. And I think, yeah. There's that. Don't think too hard about it, though. There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's. You want to give me money? Give me money through any of those funnels. Not one is better than the other. Scoop of Faith wrote in because we made a we made, well, all right, here. Let me tell you this. If you're giving me $20 a month for something, and you like this show, then give it to me on the JuRY Patreon. I think we're close to that $1,000 milestone anyway, which is good. So I would say give it to me on the JuRY Daily Patreon. Scoop of Faith writes in. And this was, we asked Scoop of Faith, who has been our new favorite listener, him and his wife, our new favorite listeners, who had a very impassioned and erotic defense of Baby It's Cold Outside. I read an email about God getting hit with a Me Too. And the problem being, just the theological implications of God himself impregnating a woman without her consent. So I asked Scoop of Faith to be our Christian correspondent. He writes, "Hey, JuRY, Scoop of Faith here. I'll be honest, I don't feel comfortable being your Christian correspondent." Oh, understood. I continue. "I am pretty sure swinging and polyamory is a disqualifier to be a representative of the faith. That's why I stopped being a youth leader in my church, but here's my opinion. Number one, Scoop of Faith, I'm not a religious man myself, but I do appreciate and understand some of the issues that go into it. So I will say this. I appreciate your point of view, and I find it very interesting, not in spite of the contradictions, but because of them. And therefore, I welcome your opinion here whenever you feel comfortable to chime in." So we continue. This is his opinion. "God, being omniscient, allows him to see the results before he does things. So he knows how Mary would react to being impregnated without her consent because she would be cool with it. The only analogous thing that I could think of that people could relate to is your significant other surprises you with a vacation that included the following: spending a significant chunk of money without discussing it with you first, talking to your supervisor to get your vacation covered without discussing it with you. Some people would love that she chose was a loving maid for them, and some people would be pissed that their money and vacation time was taken from them. During that time, the Jewish people were ruled by Rome, and there was a lot done to the people without their consent. The bottom line here is that God, quote unquote, uses people, and I can see how some people will be turned off by it, and others would feel that it was a blessing. Understood. And that's kind of where I was. I don't think it's, he's an omniscient being. He can read her thoughts. He knows there is a consent. I mean, because really it doesn't say that God just winged it. God just fucking went you, right? You got to assume that. I don't think it's right there in the Bible or nothing, but that you're God mind melded with Mary and saw that she would be good to bear the fruit of God. Lucas brings us on home. You said on one of your shows that most people in corporate America aren't really giving a shit between Thanksgiving and New Year. While I wish that was the case, at my particular company, it's busier than ever. We work at a regional MSO, multiple services operator, specifically internet, phone, and TV. Specifically in business activations department, and we are tuning up new businesses at a higher rate for the next 2 weeks than we have for the last 2 to 3 months. I've heard that the people upstairs are trying to meet some kind of magical number at the end of the year, but all it means to me is a shitload of work for the next few weeks. So, cheers. And cheers to you, Lucas. I want to go ahead and thank our producers for this show. Bill, Dustin, Middle Age, Mike, BioCal, Robert H, Brian C, M, and Trey, the Melodica Man. Again, you got to get your money, or you got to get your orders in on stickers or DIAF before the end of the week if you want to make sure that your shit will get here by Christmas. You can always email us, jurydaily@gmail.com. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat @JustinRYoung. Join our Discord at bit.ly/JuryDiscord. Folks, that about wraps it up. Until tomorrow, please give a round of applause to Mr. Wacky. And please, don't.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.